yeah! Boom! Life Siphon! Woo!
Join the team.
Hey team, this is the McGuire Review, and I cannot tell you how excited I am. Well, obviously I can, I am right now. That's right, me and Bear are super excited about this brand new game called Life Siphon from Wyrmwood Games. This is out on Kickstarter right now, or very soon, depending on when this video actually hits. But I will tell you, team, Life Siphon is going to be one to get. If you are going to back a Kickstarter this year,
team, this is the one to back.
There's a lot of good stuff out there right now, but Life Siphon nails it in every single realm. This game is enormously fun, and we're going to get into some gameplay after we go through what's on the table. But before we do all that, we are going to have an
epic level drop
giveaway on this one. Guys, you know how it works. Team, comment below. If you're not part of the team, hit that subscribe button, subscribe to the channel, and make a comment below. And when this Kickstarter ends, okay, when the Kickstarter for Life Siphon is over, Bear will press the button of fate, and one lucky team member will receive, Bear, the book, please. Thank you, Bear. The Never-Ending Story book has been opened, and the details have been recorded. The winner will receive a copy of Dragoon, a copy of Dragoon Expansion, Human Era, and Heads Will Roll. So you are getting essentially 4 different items and 3 different games in this giveaway. It's a $115 value. Boom! Team, that's an epic level giveaway, and the winner is going to get that. So, Bear, hold this, please. Thank you. You want to absolutely get in on that giveaway. I don't know. I don't know if we've done one that epic. Maybe we have, but that's a pretty epic level giveaway. All right, so what's going on here in this game of Life Siphon? Basically, the top of the earth, or wherever you want to say, has been taken over by the dragons. And we have moved underground. And as we're underground, there's been some, we'll just say, evolution. And now we have some different types of abilities. And we're able to summon familiars to be able to do our bidding and try to take out the other players around the table. And as we do that, we are also at the cost of siphoning our own life. So it's as we sort of, you can say, quote-unquote, use magic to summon these familiars to do our bidding, we're also taking away from our own life as we're doing that. So you can quickly see that this game is just a constant balance of using your own life and expelling that life to be able to provide gain for yourself and to try to win the game. And you may look at this game and say, well, there's not a lot of components that are on the table. And that's accurate. There is not a lot of components that come with the game. You essentially have your 3 different types of familiars. Phenomenal. This is the metal version, okay? The quote-unquote gold version, Dragoon. Right up here came with a gold version where you got metal components versus the plastic. This game will ship standard with wooden components, and if you want to upgrade the game to the metal components, which I highly suggest you do, and it is well worth it from just the look, the table presence, the feel of these components, really high quality. I really do recommend that you upgrade for this game, and the reason is you're going to be playing a lot of it once you get your hands on it, because it is fun! Woo! I'm gonna siphon your life! You may think there's not a lot of components on this table, and you are right. And you might think also, well, is this kind of one of those beer and pretzel type games where there's not a lot of complexity and I don't really have to pay attention? I'm just kind of, okay, I'll do this, I'll do that. From a rules perspective, it's incredibly straightforward, incredibly simple. The rules on this one, very short rule book. However, there's a lot going on in this game. You're paying attention to your cards, and it's that constant balance of trying to stay alive, but everything that you're doing, a lot of times, you're taking your own life away to be able to do those actions and do that. In trying to strategically hope that on the next round, and it's your turn again, you've positioned yourself in a way to gain some more life back. So it's this constant balance of this life track for each person in being able to stay alive. You also are only battling the person that is on your left, and you're only defending against the person that is on your right. So this is a 2 to 4 player game, and you can play. The 2-player game is a good experience, okay? Don't get me wrong, the 2-player game is fun, but where this title really shines is with 3 and 4 players, because that's when you're watching to your left and your right, because you're trying to take the person out to your left and you're trying to defend against the person to your right. And that's what every person around the table is doing. And it's the first person that hits 0 life, the person that took that individual out, that player, is the winner. So not only are you going to be balancing your life, playing cards to try to take out the person to your left, you're going to be defending against the person to your right. You're also going to find yourself healing the person that's trying to attack you and others around the table, because you don't want another player to take out their player to the left. Because as soon as they do, you lose the game. That's the winner and everyone else loses. I absolutely love that mechanic. It's almost like Lay Waste Games took all of the things generally in gaming that you would not do. They turned that upside down on their head and they put it into this game. And it all these mechanics just mixed together perfectly to create this intense, engaging player interaction game. You will be having a great time playing this game. You'll be laughing, you'll be crying, you'll be cursing your friends across the table as they heal the person to your left. Because you're trying to win and they don't want you to win. They want to take out the person to their left. So it really is an absolute fantastic balance of mechanics in Life Siphon in such a simple way. And I'll repeat it again, team. This is going to be a staple in the gaming industry. This is going to be one people are going to be talking about, people are going to be buying, and lots of people are going to be playing, because I have not played a game of this and not had an incredible fun experience, okay? Can't recommend this one higher. This is a 2019 back. Team, you're going to be sorry if you don't do it. You're going to want to get in on the Kickstarter and get the little extras that folks get through the Kickstarters versus just waiting for retail. Get in on this one. Trust me. Okay, so let's talk about what's on the table and let's get into some gameplay. I wanted to spend some time to explain how fun this game is. But we're going to be able to see it here when we get into gameplay. We'll do a couple rounds, and you'll get to get a feel for how this game works. All right, so like any of their games, component quality really high. Again, you're going to get the wood. That's going to be the standard component. Upgrade to the metal, highly suggest it. It's not that much more, and it adds a lot. These are fantastic little metal components. These Dread Knights are pretty awesome. So you are getting nice little canvas bags, right? Again, this is all prototype. So everything will be better than what you see here in the production version. All prototype stuff, box, board, okay? All prototype. I want to make sure that's clear. However, even with it being prototype, this is some pretty high production quality stuff. So I'll say that. That just tells you how much better. It just tells you what you're going to get here from a production perspective. Okay, nice little bag. It's got a nice metal, shiny clasp on it there. You're going to get 2 of those. In this version of what I've got here, that's going to hold your metal, various components around the board. You do have 4 player guides here. There's little reference cards. On one side, you're going to see the turn order, where it's going to tell you exactly how to play the game, and you can see there just how simple that is. A few little things you're going to do when it's your turn. And then on the back, you're going to get a reference of each one of the 3 familiars. So we have imps right here. We have the lich right here, which are very deadly. We'll talk about that. And then we also have the Dread Knights, which are also very deadly. And it's interesting, I say that, but each one of these familiars have different attack and defense value. They also have a different main ability. So, for instance, these little imps here, whenever they're taken off the board, they actually heal you by 1 point. These Dread Knights right here, they do a lot of damage, and they have a pretty good amount of defense. 3 on their defense versus 2 for the other types of familiars. They do 5 attack. These guys are beasts. They are the barbarians in Life Siphon, so they're pretty beefy. However, they do cost life to move, so that's interesting. And then our Lich here, these really have the ability, once you get up into the battleground, you want to attack somebody, they have the ability that I can choose, if I'm the player that has it there in the battleground, what they attack. Do they attack directly to the player's health, or do they attack another player's familiar? And I can make that choice, and my defender can only defend a Lich with a Lich. So they are very powerful, and when a player starts to get those out in the deployment area and moving them up through the board, and we'll talk about those areas of the board here in a minute, you want to pay close attention because you better have one of these guys to be able to defend depending on which player is deploying them, right? I mean, this player sitting here doesn't need to worry about this player because this player is never going to be able to attack this player. However, this player is going to be attacking this player, and this player needs to worry about ensuring he doesn't lose all his health before this player can kill this player. So again, it's that constant balance, and that's where the complexity of this game comes in, is where you're always paying attention not only to the cards in your hand, where your health is, what you're playing, and how you're giving up health to advance, as well as the health of the other players. So there's a few things you're going to be paying attention to, even with these simple rules. Okay, so that's all of our familiars that we have here, and all that information is right here on this card. And I really like the fact that they provided this for the player, that the attack, the defense, what it costs to get it out there on the board, everything is right there. It's very simple and easy to be able to see. Because to be able to even summon these familiars, you're going to have to pay a life cost. And some of them are pretty expensive, like our Lich. You got to pay 4 life to be able to summon that onto the board and even start to use it. So that's nice that this card was included, and I'll just leave those up, with playing like this. If you play a 2-player game, you can do that as well. Just go ahead and take all 4 of them and turn one over, and then you kind of have all the information that you need right there in front of you. We're going to have something called the aspects of the game. This is another fun mechanic. There are cards in this, what we call the river deck here, and you may even have one already because you will get 1 card dealt to you randomly to start the game. And there are cards that will say, play an aspect of, you'll basically take these 5 aspects, and whoever plays that card to sort of get an aspect will take all 5 of these cards, and they'll decide which one they want. They'll pass the deck to their left, and it'll go around the table, and there'll always be 1 card that doesn't get used. Now, this is another layer or mechanic in the game. It's going to offer somewhat of a special ability and a different special ability to each player until someone else plays another one of those cards that causes these cards to then shuffle back around through the group again. Just for an example, we'll read a few of these. Tickling my nose! So this is the aspect of greed. It says when you draw 1 card at the end of your turn, instead draw 2 cards, then discard 1 of those 2 cards. So it just allows you to have some more option when you're drawing cards from the deck, the river deck here. It gives you some more option to see which one you might want to keep out of the 2 that you draw, and then you discard 1. Well, look here. This one is Aspect of the Lich. Once on your turn, you may choose 1. All players discard 1 card of their choice, starting with the player to your left, or all players draw 1 card starting with you, can only be used during your main phase. So we'll hit one more here. Aspect of the Dark. Regenerate 1 additional life at the start of your turn as long as Aspect of the Dark is equipped. That means you have it. You cannot regenerate more than 3 life at the start of your turn. This is actually a really good one because it keeps your heals up. At the beginning of each turn, you are going to heal 1 life, and you'll heal a life for every familiar that you have in this blue part here, which is called the River. And we'll talk more about that as we do the actual gameplay. But that's how Aspect of the Dark is going to work. And you can see there are 2 other ones as well, but it just gives you a feel for every player does get a little bit of a different special ability to utilize as those cards are cycled over the course of the game. Love that. All right, so let's get into the actual game. I think we've kind of gone over all the components. I will say here on the board real quick before we get started, each player will have one of these little awesome gold skulls to represent the beginning of their life, and each player does have 20 life. You'll start on 20. There are 4 areas of the board you need to pay attention to, and each player will have what they call a quadrant, and will have all 4 of those areas. I just love the way this board is designed. It really looks good, and it's fun as the game sort of starts to populate out and play as well. So these 3 little marks right here are what's called your deployment area. That's where you're going to basically spawn and deploy familiars. You can only do up to 3 of those per turn, so you can fill all 3 spots. I say up to 3 because you can't fill all 3 spots, then you get to move, and then move them, and then fill them again, and use a bunch of health to do that. You can't do that. You can only do 3 familiars on your turn. This next little area is kind of a movement zone. You'll just sort of move your familiar up into that area. Nothing special happens within that area. It's just sort of a part of the board where you're moving from deployment kind of into the board. This blue area right here is very special. It's called the river. And when you're in the river, you will be able to gain extra health over the course of your turn. You also will be able to draw river cards if you don't have anybody in the river. So again, if you don't have any familiars that are actually sitting in the river, then you can have the option of drawing a river card. And what we'll do here when we start the game is we'll flip over 3 of these cards from the very beginning, and those will be our river cards. So we've got Spirit Vial, Life Siphon, and Consume. All 3 very deadly cards to be able to pick up. Pretty much everything in this game is deadly, so that's pretty cool. And I love the artwork as well. It's got it goes really well with the theme. Good color, good artwork. Very, very cool. Simple, but perfect for the theme and the way this game plays out. All right, so that's how the river is going to work. It's either going to heal you or you're going to be able to draw some cards here, depending on if you have familiars there or not. And then this last little area is what's called the battleground. And that's when, once you get one of your familiars or more within that area, you can then start attacking the person to your left. And that person, if they don't have any familiars there, they just have to straight take that damage. Now, if they do, then they'll determine how they would defend against that incoming damage, depending on which one of our familiars are there. Again, we talked about how each one of those familiars have a little bit of a different ability in the way they interact, and the liches will make a difference when they attack within combat. So you are going to be wanting to make sure that you do have some defenses out there pretty much at all times, and when you see other players start to move in, you better get your forces moved up if you want to be able to defend. So that's pretty awesome. Okay, so that's how the board is going to work. There is just a little eye here in the center. It doesn't really do anything. That's just sort of the center of the board and the center of the battleground there. All right, so we're going to start playing now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn all of these cards over, and so everybody can see what we got going on here with each one of these cards. So we'll say this is player number 1, and we'll go around the table to the left. We will start here with this player. I generally do a 3-player game for me, Bear, and Smokey. However, for this one, I really wanted to do a 4-player, so we do have 1 bot. Bear's still playing, Smokey's still playing, obviously. But we do have a bot that's included here because I want to show everybody just what this game plays out, because, again, I really think this game shines with the 3 and 4 players. That's when I feel like it's a very competitive 2-player game. It's a very strategic, very competitive 2-player game. But it is just a blast when you play this with 3 and 4 players. So that's what we're going to do here. Okay, so we do have Dark Axe here. We got Feed, Lich's Grasp, and Shadow Strength. Now, these cards follow 2 different types of paths. They're either something called a slow cast or a fast cast. The slow cast doesn't really cost any life. These fast casts will actually cost life. And that will be denoted there right on the card. Some of them are slow or fast, you'll determine. Like this one, Dark Axe, it's got 2 little life here. That means to be able to use this card, you're going to have to take 2 of your life. So it's powerful, but you're going to have to balance that. So this card, for instance, says, increase the attack of any 1 familiar by 2 until the end of the turn. So you may be up here and you may want to, like let's say you're defending against someone, or you want to do a big attack. You can lay that down and beef up one of your familiars, but that's going to cost you some life. So you'll want to balance that. All right, so that's where we start out. So we're just going to start here with this player, and the first thing we're going to do is regenerate life. We're going to regenerate 1 life. Well, we don't need to do that because we're at full health, so we're good to go there. We don't have any familiars in the river, so we can draw, if we want, a card from the river, and I'm going to. Now, everybody else around the table is going to see which card I draw. You're going to want to try to pay attention to that. Who has what? At the end of my turn, I will draw 1 card to end the turn, but I will not draw from the river. I will draw blindly from the deck, and no one knows what that card is. So every time it's your turn, if you don't have anybody in the river, you are going to essentially get to draw 2 cards. 1, if you want. 1, everybody's going to be able to see. 1, no one will be able to see except for you. Well, first turn, I want to get some cards in my hand. I'm going to draw a card, and I'm going to go with Consume, which is remove a familiar of yours from the board and choose any 1 player to gain 1, 2, 3, or 4 life. Cannot consume a familiar if it is in the battleground. Very awesome. So that's going to be a card where at some point, probably when I got somebody up here and I don't really need them, I'm going to pull them off the board, I'm going to lay this down, and I'm going to heal someone else on the board to keep them from dying and from me from losing. Because again, I am player number 1. The only way I can win is if I take out player number 2 to my left. Any other player, I'm not attacking. Any other player, only I'm worried about them not dying. So I'm going to be trying to keep them alive. I love that. Absolutely love that. We're going to refresh the river deck here. We got a draw aspect, okay? This is one of those cards that if somebody picks it up and plays it, these aspects are going to come into play. All right, so that is out on the board now. Okay, we're now going to look here. Well, we drew. We didn't need to heal. We're going to right on to our attack phase. It says attack. Only familiars in your battleground can start. You can really do attack. We don't have any familiars in the battleground, so there's not going to be any attacking. We're going to go to the main phase, which says the main phase, first thing is, in any order you can summon familiars, move familiars, and use slow cast cards if I want to use them. Well, there's none here. I only have 1 slow cast card, and there's really nothing here that I would want to do. Consume is not really valuable to me just yet, so I'm basically just going to be summoning familiars and moving them, and then I'll draw a card to end my turn. All right, so let's look here and see what we want to do. Well, you know what? I'm going to get a Lich out. Okay, because again, those are deadly in combat. Let's get one of those guys out. And I'm also going to get out... I'm going to get out 2 imps. Because these guys, when they're removed from the board, help me heal. So we'll put those guys out. And let's check how much that's going to cost us to be able to do that. So imps are 3 each, and the Lich is 4. So we got 6, so 3, 6, and 4 is 10. That's going to cost me 10 health, dropping me from 20 already to 10 health. I'm halfway dead, just summoning and getting those on the board. However, imps. When one of your imps is removed from the board, you gain 1 life. When attacking, your opponent decides if they will block or not. That's when I attack with an imp. Lich, when attacking, first you decide which familiar the Lich is attacking, or if the Lich is attacking your opponent directly. I get to make that choice as a player against this player. Okay, and then they have to respond to that. It's not their choice when I attack. Liches can only block or be blocked by other Liches. One thing to be noted here is Liches, when they attack, you have to defend with a Lich, or it's going directly to the player. When it gets to attack, like these other 2 types of familiars, your imps and your dreadnoughts, they can attack a Lich. It's just when a Lich attacks, it can only be defended against with a Lich. You can't defend with an imp or a dreadnought. Or a dread knight. I keep wanting to call them dreadnoughts. They're dread knights. Okay? So I've got everybody on there. Each familiar can only move 1 space. It doesn't cost any life to move a Lich or an imp. However, when you move your dread knights, it does actually cost you a life as well to move them. The reason is because they are so powerful. Again, when they get to the battleground, they are doing 5 attack and they have 3 defense. So they're pretty tough to take out. When you do get to battle, each one of your familiars can attack once, but when you're defending, you can use multiple familiars to defend if you want and kind of add up their abilities. Because when you do a battle, you are attacking and defending at the same time. Like both of them fire off their damage, so it's kind of a wipe mechanic where when you attack, they're also attacking you. All you really have to do is exceed the incoming damage that's coming in, and you can stay alive. But if both parties, their defense is exceeded, they both will go out. Okay, so that's how that battle mechanic works, and we'll play that out hopefully here. So now I'm going to move, and I'm going to just move them all up into this movement row here, and you can put them wherever you want in this row. There's no set spot that it needs to go, so I'm just going to put them there. Then I'm going to end my turn by drawing a card, and I got Lich's Grasp. Nobody's going to see this except for me, and this can be used as a slow cast or a fast cast. Exchange 1 card with a player of your choice. You must have 1 card to exchange. If that player has no cards, discard 1 card and draw 1 card from the deck. Or I can choose any 1 player and steal a card from their hand at random. If they have no cards in hand, instead draw 1 card from the deck. If I do the choose any 1 player and steal a card, I have to pay a health or a life. If I want to go with just exchange 1 card of the player of your choice, then that doesn't cost any life. So I'll put that right there, and those are my cards. It is now this player's turn. Again, first turn, they don't need to heal. They're not going to get any life. No one's in the river, so they're going to go right into summoning and movement and then draw their card to end it. So this player is going to say, you know what? I'm going to go, what's that cost? Dread Knight only cost, I'm going to go all in. I'm getting nasty. I'm bringing in 2 of the Dread Knights, and then, this player's got a Lich coming in. What if this guy brings in a Lich? I can't defend against it. I'm gonna bring in a Lich as well. There we go. A Lich and 2 Dread Knights. This is looking deadly. That's gonna cost us, Dread Knights are only 2, so it's gonna be 4, and 4 for the Lich, which is 8. So I'm gonna go down to 12 health. That's where I'm at. And then I'm gonna go to move, and I'm gonna get all these up. It costs me nothing to move my Lich up. Does cost me 1 health each to move these Dread Knights, so that will be 1, 2. I'll go down 1, 2 more health, and now I'm at 10 as well because of the setup that I went with. Everything's done there. We're now going to draw a card, and that is the Grim Vision. This is another one of those examples of I either can do using no health against me, or I can take a health to be able to execute this. 0, look at any one player's hand, or that's a slow cast, doesn't cost anything. Or 1, take 1 health. Look at any one player's hand. Look at any one player's cards in hand, and then draw a card from the deck. Okay, so that's just going to kind of give me a look at what players have. Probably going to want to look at that player to my right, because that's the player that's going to be attacking player number 2. So I'm going to be looking at player number 1's cards probably. All right on to the next player. We're going to start speeding this up now because, again, we've made it clear on this first turn there is no gaining of health. There's nobody in the river. So we're going to right to deployment. So, interesting. I am going to get nasty, and we're going to go 2 Liches, and we're going to go an Imp. That's going to cost us 8, 9, 10, 11. So taking that health all the way down to 9. And then we're going to move. Doesn't cost us anything for those movements. We're moving all these guys up. And then we're going to draw a card, getting a draw aspect, which we might just play that next time, which allows us to get those aspects out on the board and into everybody's hands. Okay? All right, we're to the last person's turn now. And let's do this. Let's just say this person really wants to ensure they stay alive. So they're going to go with 2 of the Imps, and then they're going to bring in a Dread Knight. That's going to cost 6, 7, 8 health, and giving us 12. It is going to cost 1 to move that Dread Knight, so we'll just go ahead and mark that down to 11. Let's get all of these guys moved up. We're going to draw our card, and we got another Lich's Grasp for this player. Okay, we are now going in to round 2. Starting round 2, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to regenerate that health. So we're going to get 1 health to start the turn. Nobody is in the river yet, so we're not going to gain health for that. However, nobody's in the river, so we can draw from the river deck if we want to. And I am actually going to do that because I don't have any draw aspects, but this life siphon is very powerful too. However, it takes a lot of life to be able to do this. This has been changed, though, in the updated rule set. This is only 1 life and 3 life, verse 2 and 4 that it shows on this card. But this deals 1 damage to any 1 player of your choice, or deal 2 damage to any 1 player of your choice. However, taking a lot of life from you. You know what? I'm going to pick up this life siphon because this is very handy in game when everybody's kind of close and you can just take somebody out, and hoping that you have enough life to stay alive when you do that. So I'm going to pick that up. That's going to now be replaced, but every other player around the board knows that I have a life siphon in my hands, and you better pay attention to that one. Okay, now what we're going to do is we are going to go into summoning again, as well as moving and playing any cards. So, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and summon again, and I'm going to get... I like where my health is right now. I'm just going to summon 1 of my Dread Knights. That's going to cost me 2, taking me to 9. I am going to move him 1 up. That's going to take me to 8. All right, and I'm going to stay right there. These 3, however, I'm going to move into the river. So I got 1, 2, 3 moved up in the river, which means on my next turn, I'm not going to be able to draw a card because there's going to be familiars in the river. However, I'm going to be able to heal a point of life for every familiar that's there. Now, you can only heal up to 3 max. However, that will give me... I will have 4, but I will only be able to heal 3 of those. So I'll have my max heal on my next turn. All right? So they're all moved. They're all done. We've done everything we need to do. Do I want to play any cards that I have here? Let's see. Remove a familiar and choose 1 player to gain health. Interesting. You know what? I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it where it is right now. I'm not gonna play any cards just yet. Actually, you know what? I'm going to. I'm gonna play Consume because Consume doesn't cost me anything. It says remove a familiar of yours from the board and choose any 1 player to gain 1, 2, 3, or 4 life. Cannot consume a familiar if it is in the battleground. I'm gonna play Consume and I'm gonna remove 1 of my imps. That's going to go out because that still gives me my full heal for the next round, and it still puts these 2 in the battleground once I get there. And I'm going to choose to heal. I don't want this person dying, and I don't want this person dying. They're both at 9, so I'm going to go ahead and heal the person across the table, and I'm going to heal them for 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're healed now. I don't have to worry as much about that person dying and getting that win. It'd be this person getting that win before I get it. So Consume is now done. We'll just discard that card and put it right there. My turn's kind of over, and I'm going to go ahead and draw a card, which no one sees. Got one of those draw aspects. Perfect. So now I have one of those. This player has one, and there's one that's out in the river, but I don't know this player has one just yet, because I believe that was one that was randomly drawn. So the turn is over. It now goes to this player. We're going to heal 1. Nobody's in the river. We are going to now, let's see here. There's no attacking that can take place. Do we want to play any slow cast cards? You know what? I'm going to play this slow cast Grim Vision, and I'm going to do the look at any 1 player's cards in hand, or I can use a health and look at any 1 player's cards in hand and then draw a card from the deck. I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to take a health, and I'm going to look at any 1 player's card. Now, this player has the most cards, and that's the player that's attacking this player. So I'm going to look at their cards. Let's make sure that's right. Not 1 card. It's all the cards. Look at any 1 player's cards in hand. Okay, so that's all their cards. So I'm selecting this player. I'm going to look at their cards and say, okay, they got a life siphon. They got a draw. I knew they had a life siphon. They got a draw aspect. They got a dark axe. And they got a lich's grasp. Okay. All right, so I know what they got now. I know what they can kind of come at me with. They got that dark axe, so I know they can come with a big hit. And then it says that, because I use that health, I then can draw a card from the deck. So I am going to go ahead and do that and draw a card from the deck. No one else sees that. I got Shadow's Strength, which is a slow cast, costs no health. It says increase the attack of any 1 familiar by 1 until the end of the turn. Very, very good, because I will be increasing the attack of one of these Dread Knights and doing some sick damage, or maybe it's the Lich if I can get him up there and nobody else can block that. But this player that I'm attacking actually has 2 of the Liches, so I'm probably going to go for the big attack on the Dread Knight. Oh, yes. It's heating up now, team. It is heating up now. All right, so let's go into basically summoning and moving. Do I want to summon anything? You know what? I'm going to get some imps out there. I'm going to summon 2 of these guys. That's deadly because that's going to cost me 6 to be able to do that. And I'm at 10, so I am going to drop to 4 life, which is extremely dangerous. I was at 8 here, which is extremely dangerous for me to do. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the risk to get a lot of people out there on that battleground, because on my next round I'll be in the river and I can heal. I then will pay. Ooh, interesting. You know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm only going to do 3. 2, 3. And the reason is because I got to pay a life for each one of these guys to move. Dropping me to 5. This guy's for free. I got 3 in the river. I got 1 here. And I will be able to move this guy as well, because everybody can be moved 1 once they're, every familiar can be used 1. So I got everybody kind of stacked up. I'm going to draw a card to end my turn. Grim Vision. Got another one of those Grim Visions, which actually played out pretty well in that last one. So maybe I'll play that next time as well. So now we're here. We're going to heal 1, taking it to 12. We got nothing in the river. We're then going to see, do I want to play Lich's Grass or Draw Aspect? You know what? I'm playing Draw Aspect, and I'm going to do that right before I do anything else. So Draw Aspect is now being played, and what this right here does, it says all players discard any equipped aspects. Nobody has any. You equip one of your choice and pass the remainder to the player to your left. Repeat until all players have equipped an aspect, then choose one player to gain 1 life. So this player is going to grab all 5 of these aspects, and they're going to choose one. And then they're going to pass it around the table, and then that player is going to choose one person around the table to gain 1 life. You know what? I'm going to take Aspect of the Dark because I want to stay alive. It gets passed to this player. Now he only has these 4 left. Now, you know what? I got a couple imps, so I'm going to go with this Aspect of the Imp, which is once on your turn, gain the ability to turn one of your familiars into an imp. If that familiar has already moved, it cannot move again this turn. Can only be used during your main phase. So it just turns another one of your items in one of your familiars out on the board into an imp. So that's going to help me with healing. I'm going to grab that. So this player kind of went with a heal. This player went with a Aspect of Healing. We got Aspect of the Greed. Let's go. Let's say this player wants to go with Aspect of the Greed. Loves giving them cards. And then this player here does have some Dread Knights out. It says once in your turn, rather than pay 1 life to move a Dread Knight, you may instead choose 1, discard 1 card, or the player to your left gains 1 life. They must have 19 or less life. You know what? I think I'm going to go Aspect of the Lich, which is once on your turn, you may choose all players discard 1 card of their choice starting with the player to your left, or all players draw 1 card starting with you. Can only be used during your main phase. So I'm going to go with Aspect of the Lich, and then Aspect of the Dread Knight got left out. Nobody used that, so we'll just put that back up top. And now, on top of what we've got on, everybody has a special little ability, and they're going to have that as long until someone else plays another draw aspect card, and that's going to cycle and shuffle up again. The last thing we got to do in there is this player gets to choose 1 player that can gain a life. And I am going to not want that player to gain a life. This player's pretty low, so I'm gonna take this player over here across the table and give them a life. And that's an example of this player is actually attacking this player, so you're actually healing the player that's trying to kill you. But you're doing that because you don't want that player to die before you're able to take out this player, or you lose the game. Absolutely love it. It just such a great, fantastic mechanic, and it adds so much fun around the table as you're doing that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we can deploy and we can move. I'm going to go ahead and move each one of these up, 1, 1, and 1. And we didn't have, well, let's do this. So we didn't have anybody in the river, so we do have the choice. We should have started there after we healed ourselves. Nobody was in the river, so we do have a choice to draw a river card. And we are going to draw the Spirit Vial here, which is choose a player to gain 2 life and discard a card of their choice. If they have no cards in hand, instead they gain 2 life and draw 1 card. That's kind of a very, it's a real good utility card to have. So we're going to pick up our Spirit Vial. Now we're going to the phase where we summon and play cards and move. I kind of played that card a little early. I should have done my drawing from my river deck first, but I kind of skipped that. Okay, so now we're kind of back on track. What we'll do here is we will go ahead and I like to summon first and then move. So let's summon a how's our health? Our health is not too bad. So I'm going to summon a couple of these dreads out here. And that's going to take 4. So we're going to go from 12 down to 10 down to 8. All right, then we're going to move these. These are all movements for free. We are going to move these guys up 1. And we're going to leave this dread actually right here. And that's just going to take 1 more health, leaving us at 7. We're going to leave that guy there. Had to pay 1 for that movement. And then we're kind of done with everything. I already sort of played some cards. I could play more cards if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. I'm going to draw this card. Ooh, I got a Dark Pack, which says increase the defense of anyone familiar by 3 until the end of the turn. Excellent. That does cost a health to be able to do that. Woo! Guess whose defense is getting risen up? Lich time! Now we're to this player here, and we are going to start off with gaining 1 health. Nobody's in the river, so there's no... I can draw a river card if I want. I'm going to take one of these... I'm going to take one of these Spirit Vials too, because that's a really good card, and we're going to put this right here to fill that back up. There's a little life siphon that's out there. Someone's probably going to want to grab that. We're then going to see, is there any of the cards we want to play? Let's see what our aspect of the imp is. Once per turn, gain the ability to turn one of your familiars into an imp. I don't really need to do that just yet. You might want to do that if you think you're going to end up dying and the imp's going to be removed from the board. You're going to do some attacking. Helps you heal up. So we're going to do... we're going to go right to our main phase because there is no attacking. And we're going to do this Spirit Vial. I'm going to go ahead and play that, which is choose a player to gain 2 life and discard a card of their choice. Everybody has cards. That's not a problem. I am going to choose this player here because they're getting really low on health. And that player is going to gain 2 life. And that player is going to have to discard a card of their choice. And that was a slow cast, didn't cost any health. So this player is now going to look here and have to say, you know what? I'll just get rid of Grim Vision. I'll discard that. So they're left with Shadow Strength and Feed, which are 2 really good cards. All right, so that's what that player did. Now we're going to go ahead and get some reinforcements. Get some reinforcements in on the board, and let's go ahead and it looks like everybody else has got some liches out. Let's get a couple liches out. That's going to be you know what? A couple. I don't know if we're going to do that because that would cost 8. Let's not do that. We'd almost be dead. Let's just get 1 lich out. That's going to cost 4, taking us from 10 to 6. We got that out there. All right, and now let's go ahead and move. It's going to cost us 1 more to move our knight up, our dread knight, and then these guys move up for free, full healing upon that next round, and this guy moves up 1 for free, and now we're good. Okay, I am done. I'm going to draw that final card for this turn. Ooh, got a feed. Nice. Choose either one, which is fast cast. Choose any one player to gain 1 life, or slow cast. Look at the top 3 cards of the deck and put them back in any order. So I can actually take some damage on this one if I want to play this as a fast cast, which is choose any one player to gain 1 life. That's just a fast cast that you can play that. Let's move into this. We're going to start our turn and we're going to heal 1. Now we do have 2 familiars that are in the river, so that means we cannot draw from the river deck this turn. However, we will heal 1 for every familiar in the river, up to a max of 3 for that turn. So we did heal 1 already for our standard heal, and then we'll heal 2 more. Taking us to 11. Very nice. Brought us back up over that midpoint again. We are then going to, let's see, is there any cards that I want to play at this point? There's not. Oh, yeah, Aspect of the Greed. When you draw 1 card at the end of your turn, instead draw 2. So let's remember that I got Aspect of the Greed, and I want to keep that. For now, I don't want to play any other of these fast cards just yet. However, I do want to move this guy in, and I do want to move this guy in, and guess what? It is battle time. That means next round, it's on. It's battle time. Because now they're there. Now, I can't move them in and then just immediately start the battle because that's out of the order of, out of the phases, right? You move them in, and now it's battle time, so it kind of gives this player some time to sort of react and position how they would want to, position their forces. So they're moved in. I will pay 1 life to move him into the river, ensuring that I can get some healing on the next turn as well. I'm also going to summon. So I'm going to go ahead and summon. I'm going to summon another. Let's see, I got 10 health. So I'm summoning 2 more. You know what? I'm summoning 2 more dreads. That's going to cost 4, taking me to 6. And I do have the ability to move these guys as well. I'm going to move 1 of them, taking me down to 5 into this movement row. You know what? I'm going to move them both into the movement row, taking me down to 4. And what that's going to do is I'm going to have a quick battle wave right after this wave, and it's going to be with some high attacking familiars. And I can see around the board that they might run into some of these other liches. However, I think those liches are going to get there before these guys will, and maybe some of those guys will be taken out already, and then I can come in with a big attack against the player to my left. All right, I'm going to draw 2 cards because I have Aspect of Greed. I'm going to see I got Dark Axe and Shadow Shield. Dark Axe. Now I can keep one of these. Increase the defense of anyone familiar by 1. Increase the attack of anyone familiar by 2. I'm going with this, even though it is taking... Oh, but I'm getting low on life. I'm going to go with Shadow Shield because I already have a Dark Axe. Let's get myself some some. Oh, and then with this, then discard one of those two. So it doesn't go back on the top, giving me the advantage of knowing what that is. It just gets discarded in the discard pile. Okay, so to go over there. Now my turn is over. We're going to this player here. This player now is going to start with healing 1 automatically. We're going to take, we get 3, but we don't get max, so we're just going to get 2, getting to 11. We then are going to look at our cards. Shadow Strength, increase the attack. We're not attacking yet. Feed. Choose 1 player to gain 1 life. Look at the top 3 cards of the deck and put them back in any order. We're going to keep those cards where it's at. We do have people in the river. Can't draw from the river. We're going to go right into summoning. We're up to 11. We've got a high force coming in here, so we better be able to defend against that. So I'm either going to get some dreads out. I'm not going to be able to get the liches there in time. So we better get some imps. So let's put an imp and let's put 2 dreads. We got to have a high force coming in. That's going to cost us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, taking us to 4. We are going to now, interesting. We got to get this guy in because we want to be able to defend against this lich, okay? Because liches, you need to have lich to be able to defend against that. And we are going to get really deadly here, and we're going to make 1 more life to move a Dread Knight in. We're not going to move this guy. We're going to move him up into the river, and then we are going to move everybody 1. So let's get them all. Well, no, we're not going to move those guys because they cost life. We're going to get our imp positioned. These guys are going to stay, and we need some healing. We need some healing bad. Okay? Now what we're going to do is we can't battle until the next turn. So we are going to, because we just moved him in, we are going to go ahead. We've got Aspect of the Lich. Once in your turn, you may choose 1 player to discard all of their discard 1 card of their choice starting with the player to your left, or all players draw 1 card starting with you. I'm going to do all players draw because I don't want to. I got to spend a health to be able to do that other ability. So I'm going to say all players draw a card. So I will draw a card. Shadow Strength, perfect, or Shadow Shield. They got Feed. Okay, what do we got over here? This person got a Shadow Shield as well. Awesome draw, and then we got another Feed here. Okay, so that's where we're at right now. All right. Okay, this is excellent. We got to start this card. This is getting deadly because this player's got a decent amount of cards going on here. But however, we picked up a Shadow Shield, which has increased the defense of anyone familiar by 1 till the end of the turn. So that works really well. I'm done. I'm going to draw my card, and I got Grim Vision. Over here, what we're going to do is we are getting low on health over here as well. So let's go ahead, and do we want to spawn anything? Well, the first thing is we're going to heal. And then we're going to heal 2 more for the river. Okay, taking us to 10. Now, I think what I'm going to do is I'm not going to summon. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to move a Lich up. It's getting deadly. Okay. I am then going to move my imp up, and then I'm going to pay a life to move him into the river, and I'm going to pay a life to move him right there. So 1, 2. Giving me 8 life for this character, and that's a pretty deadly setup. Okay, that's all I'm going to do. I am not going to play anything else right now. You know what? I'm going to play Spirit Vial. And this one is choose a player to gain 2 life and discard a card of their choice. So I am going to choose this player across the table because I'm down to 4. No, I'm going to choose the player that is attacking me because they are down to 3 health. So they are going to go up to 5, and they're going to have to discard one of their cards. All right, so let's just say I get rid of, I'm going to get rid of Grim Vision. My player's going to get rid of that. All right, we are now, Aspect of the Dark, regenerate 1 additional health at the start of your turn. I didn't do that. So, well, no, it says as long as the Aspect of the Dark is equipped, you can't go any more than 3. How I had my guys positioned, I got the 3. So the Aspect of the Dark didn't really benefit me there. It will in the next round, though, however. No, it won't, because, yes, it will. Yes, it will. It will benefit me on the next round. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, turn is over, we're going to draw 1 card. We got Draw Aspect, and we're not going to do anything. We're going to leave it right there. It's going to this player. This player is going to heal 1. Well, we're going to get the full 3, so that's going to take us from 5 to 8. And then what we're going to do is probably something very similar, where we're going to move these in. we're going to pay 1 more to move that into the battleground. This battleground is getting pretty deadly at this point, and we're going to move that Lich up into the river. Now, I could leave the Lich back if I wanted to draw a river card on the next turn, like if I was getting low on cards or something out here I specifically wanted. But I want to get that Lich up there, and I also want that extra healing for that Lich to be in the river. So I'm going to move that familiar right up. I'm not going to summon anything because I'm down to 7 life. I'm going to leave it right there because I'm getting concerned about my life here, this character is. So I'm just going to draw my card to end that turn, and I got the Dark Axe. Perfect. When we get into some combat. Ooh, and here we go, team. Woo! It's combat time. We're going more than a couple rounds here, but I'm really getting into this. I hope you guys are enjoying sort of watching this playthrough. It's really turning more into a playthrough than just a couple rounds of gameplay. But I want to show you exactly what all kind of phases of this game works and how it plays out. So here we are. It is combat time. So the first thing is we're going to heal. We're going to heal 1 more for this guy. So now we're up to 6. We are then going to attack. Only familiars in your battleground at the start of your turn can attack. Okay? Start of the turn. Familiars are in the battleground, and we are ready to attack. I have a Lich, and I have an Imp. Now remember, I'm only attacking the player to my left. So now I'm looking to the player to my left, and I'm saying, okay, what do they got in their battleground? Well, they got a Dread Knight, and they got a Lich. Well, the Lich... I'm going to attack with my Lich, and I'm going to say, I get the choice. I'm either attacking you directly in your health, doing 2 damage, if you can't block that, or I'm attacking one of your other familiars, and I can make that choice. So we got a Lich and a Lich, and this player can only block a Lich with the Lich. So, I'm going to go ahead and just say, you know what? I'm attacking I'm going to use my Lich to attach your Lich, and that is going to be... they each have 2 attack and 2 defense. So basically it's a wipe. They've basically wiped each other out and they're off the board. Okay? And that's how that works. Those Liches are very powerful. But this character, this player happened to have a Lich as well. But it looks like Bear happened to have a Lich as well. Nice, well played, my friend. Okay, so now we're left with an Imp and a Dread. So, I don't have to attack. But I'm going to go ahead and attack anyway, because every time one of these guys is removed from the board, I heal. Okay? So it's not always about just winning in the battleground. It's about how you execute that mechanic of combat in the battleground and what you get out of it. I want to get some heals out of it. So my Imp is going to attack, it's got an attack of 2. It's going to attack a Dread Knight, which has a defense of 3, and the Dread Knight has an attack of 5. So basically... I'm going to attack this Dread Knight. I'm not going to be able to get through its defense, and nothing's going to really happen to it. It, however, when it attacks back, is going to get through my defense and kill my Imp, but that's going to gain me 1 health because of that. Okay, so that combat is now over, and this Dread Knight survived. But I don't really care, because this player is not attacking me. This player is attacking this player, and I was able to get a heal out of it. So it worked out for me quite well. So now we're going to go into main phase, and now we can draw a card. We can play cards. We can do all that. I could have played some of these cards for Dark Axe, giving my attack on my familiar 2, but that still would have only made the attack 4. Well, that would have broken the defense of the Dread Knight, and I would have been able to take that Dread Knight out. However, I wouldn't have been able to get a heal, because I would have had to expel 2 life to be able to do that. So it would have only been a net gain, it would have been a net loss of 1 health from where I was. Now what I can do is summon. I'm not going to summon anything. However, I am going to move. I'm going to spend 1 to move there, because now I'm going for some damage against this player. Because guess what? Liches are gone. Yeah, Liches are gone! So now we're going to play 1, and we're going to make 1 more here for the heal. Ooh, interesting. 3. We're going to use 3. So it's taken from 7 to 4, but I'm going to get that full 3 heal on my next turn, taking me right back up to 7, and giving me the same positioning, unless somebody hits me with health around the card with any fast plays. All right, so that gives me a good setup. I'm going to draw 2 because I got Aspect of Greed. We haven't shuffled it. We haven't cycled them yet. We got a draw aspect and a dark pack. I'm definitely going with that dark pack, which has increased the defense of any one familiar by 3 into the end of the game. Oh, I'm not the end of the game. The end of the turn. I would have been OP'd. That was the end of the game. No, it's not the end of the game, so the end of the turn. All right, that is my turn. We're going here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to heal for 1. We're going to get 2 more heals, taking us to 8. We are then going to go into combat. I got a Dread Knight, and I'm attacking... so Bear is attacking Smokey, and at this point I can't choose, so I'm just gonna I'm saying I'm attacking. I don't have to attack, but I'm attacking. This player is basically going to determine how that defense takes place. That Dread attacks with 5, so if I'm probably gonna want to sync up here. This is where I'm gonna use multiple familiars to defend, and I'm gonna use one of these imps to get a heal out of it. So I'm gonna use one of my liches, which has a defense of 2, and one of my imps, which has a defense of 2. Oh my god, which is only 4. The 5 still beats it. Now, you might think, well, I could use all 3 of them, and that would be enough to offset the attack. But how that works when there's multiples that defend together, they each take the attack damage individually. Now, the benefit of grouping them up is you might lose multiple of them at a time, but it offsets, and then you would take out the other player's Dread Knight. But I don't want to do that because I want to keep one of these liches in for an attack on the next round. I want to keep one there. So I'm just going to pair up these 2 guys, which are going to have the defense of 4, and they're going to have an attack of 4. So they're not going to take out the knight. The knight's going to stay there. And then they're going to both go off the board. And the reason why I want to do that, why do I want to do that? I'm going to group up one of my liches and one of my imps because that'll give me an attack of 4, and the Dread Knight only has a defense of 3. So what happens in that situation is Dread Knight does 5 damage to the lich, 5 damage to the imp, killing both of them, but together they do 4 damage back, beating its defense of 3, and now all of these are wiped from the board. However, I did that because I wanted that imp to come off and then gain me another health, because every time an imp comes out, you gain a health. However, I was able, because of that grouped up pack, I was able to take out the Dread Knight from that player trying to attack me, and I'm left with a lich in the battlefield that I can use to attack on my next turn. Okay, so that's what we'll do. We'll go ahead and we'll stop it there. I'll leave you with the suspense of how this next combat battle is going to work out and what the bot player is going to do when it's their turn. So again, team, this is Life Siphon. I know this was a little bit of a longer video, especially with the playthrough aspect of it, but I wanted everybody to get a good feel for how this game plays out. And you can see, I'm playing all 4 of the characters. Well, I mean, technically it's me, Bear, and Smokey, all wrapped up into the mind of me. So, that's... And then we had our bot player, but I think that you can kind of see the fun and the mix of all the different gameplay mechanics that you're going to have, and just how different this title is. Again, I cannot say enough about how much I love this game. It is incredibly fun. I just had a great time playing with Bear and Smokey and the bot. You can only imagine what this would be like if you were sitting around a table, 3 or 4 people around a table, all playing this game, all laughing about, haha, that guy got you, but then it's right back in your face, and you're using your health to try to stay alive, but at the same time, the people that are attacking you are healing you. People that are attacking you, you're healing, and it's all wrapped up in this fun movement of deployment strategy, move strategy. Do you put people in the river to get cards or heal? And what does your combat and center game strategy look like? And you really have to balance all of that stuff going on at once to be able to be the winner of Life Siphon. So again, absolutely nailed it on this one. Lay Waste Games. Look for this on Kickstarter. Team, go back it. Don't miss out. And I do absolutely recommend upgrading to the metal components. See the table presence and how awesome that is. All right, so hit that like, click the subscribe below to join the team. Keep rolling them crits. This has been the McGuire Review, and we will see you next time, Bear. Let's roll.